am Doc Harmony, everyone. This is I am with Shannon today with Hills Health Hut, and we are super excited today to talk about ear candles. And of course, just so our audience knows that there might be some interruptions because Hills Health Hut is a super busy store, and our wonderful retailer here is and very popular, and everybody loves them. And they've been there what? How many generations now, Shannon?
Oh, I'm the third. We're raising the fourth. We've been at this location for 29 years.
Wow. So if
Mhm.
you guys are looking for information, and let me just inform everybody, I don't even know if you know this. I just saw the headlines today. So Chat GPT, which has been a competitor for all of us because, and everybody thinks they're an expert, is now going to stop giving health, medical, and financial advice due to liability reasons. Really, the real reason is the doctors were complaining because everybody was going in going, well, Chat GPT said, right? So anyways, look, and I bring that up, everyone, so that you know that people like Shannon and her family, this is going on a fourth generation business where the information and the education is just being passed down hand to hand, mouth to mouth, to you, the customer, and you get to experience this firsthand. How was that? Tell me a little bit about your store, the story, how y'all started. I just love you guys, and I just want everybody to know how amazing you are.
Well, I've been raised in it, so I know nothing else but it started with my grandmother. She was roughly 30 and suffering from terrible arthritis to the point where it was actually impeding her ability to take care of herself, much less my mom and aunts and uncles. She has 4 kids. And a couple in their church would host a nutritional dinner at their church in the fellowship hall where they would actually get to talk with a nutritionalist and do kind of like what we do with seminars, where it's a dinner and a session of information. And so at first, Granny was like, no, I don't eat rabbit food. And no thanks, but no thanks kind of thing. And so finally, they ended up talking her into, she goes, okay, fine. I will go once. And if I don't like it, please don't ask me again, kind of thing. And so they got a babysitter. I think great grandma babysat the kids, and they kind of made it a date. And luckily it was with people they knew from church, so they at least weren't going into a strange place, not knowing anybody. And she tried a little bit of everything because she promised she would be open-minded. And by the time they sat down and started actually eating, she was surprised that she really liked everything that she tried. And then as the couple introduced, her name was Annabelle at the time, introduced Annabelle and what she did and how she helped people, fix their nutrition so that it benefits their life and eventually helps boost their immune system and things. And as she's explaining different foods and how they help with certain benefits and reduce pain and inflammation in people who suffer from arthritis, she was like, oh, that sounds like us, or oh, that's like the kids. And because every other week someone has the sniffles and they're constantly going to the clinic and and so she looked at Pop Pop, who's named as Gene, but I call him Pop, and said, if we do this, we have to go all in. There's no, we either do or we don't. And he's like, whatever you need, I'm here for you. No, she's like, okay. So at the end of the dinner, they get introduced to Annabelle. They set up some coaching sessions to kind of go over what was going on with her body, getting an idea of what their house menu is like. And she literally went home that night and probably threw away half the pantry.
Oh, wow.
I think at the time my mom was 14 and my aunt was 6. And they literally went from eating anything to like raw, almost vegetarians overnight.
Oh, wow.
To the point where even my aunt was going to kindergarten with a thermos of carrot juice
Oh, my.
for lunch
Oh, my
once a
goodness.
week.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty radical. And so
What a commitment.
what a commit!
What
I
a
like
commitment.
all in. She literally meant all in, and so it completely transformed her body. She was able to go from barely able to get out of bed by it without assistance from grandpa to a vibrant line dancer by the time I was born. Um, and so within, I guess, 2 years of the partnership that she had with Annabelle, they decided to go into business together and open a health food store where Annabelle did the coaching while Grandma ran the business side and the retail side, and she was learning as she goes. And that was in South Miami. That was where our first store was,
Oh,
in
wow.
South Miami. And it eventually grew to where she had 3 bays, which was roughly 3,000 square feet
Mm.
of a store in a shopping center. I forget the intersection. But eventually, next door, we had a gentleman move in who did colonics, as well as he was a chiropractor, and he also specialized in reflexology.
Mhm.
And so as her relationship with Annabelle drifted, because she ended up moving and going on to different things, she gained a new partner in Dr. Pierre. And it was amazing because I grew up with his kids,
Wow.
essentially, and it created that whole new partnership. And she learned even more. And so she learned about the wonderful benefits of reflexology as well as colonics and kinesiology. And it was just amazing. And she's been learning ever since. And when I came around, I was practically raised in both stores. We moved up here into Tennessee in '96 and opened this location. She
And
still
let's
had
mention,
both.
where are you located so we don't forget
Oh,
that change.
Jefferson City, Tennessee.
All right, Jefferson.
We're East Tennessee, so we're east of Knoxville. Knoxville's where the UT Vols are located, so most people at least know Knoxville.
Yeah.
Where we're the 40 and 81 interstate split. We're like the last exit before the split. So
And
it's
I would like to
pretty easy to find.
interject how amazing, this is what I love about the story, that
Yeah.
it was like this family round table. And
Yes.
more than that it came out of church and God. Because
Yes.
isn't it, at the end of the day, everybody, and I'm not saying that there's not something to mitochondrial and functional
To
medicine
the science, yeah.
and all this
Yeah.
science and stuff, but at the end of
Mhm.
the day, science is just catching up with God, isn't it? Right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
and we
Yes.
just have to tell people all the time, go back to if you're eating properly, you're breathing properly, you're praying, meditating, you have a
Yes.
spiritual relationship, you are exercising, etc.,
Yes.
etc. It's the basic clean water. I mean, duh. At the end of the day, 90% of us don't need even a functional medicine doctor, right?
Right.
These conversations about mitochondrial and the cell structure. I mean, it's just so overwhelming for even me, who's a naturopath, and I'm sure probably you, who's been in the industry for
100%.
generations. And it's
Yeah.
like, unless you are that last 10%, keep it simple, silly. Just
Keep it simple.
super simple, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, before we move on to some of our products, what is it that most people don't? What is your uniqueness about your store? Like, what is it? I get your family owned, your God based, you really are keeping it simple. But what is it that your reputation is known for?
Probably combining the spiritual with the natural.
Nice.
because a lot of people don't give enough credit to their emotion and their beliefs having just as much impact on their health as their environment.
Absolutely. So I'm reading this
Yeah.
really great book by Napoleon Hill called Outwitting the Devil.
Oh,
And
goodness.
oh my God. At first, it took me a long time to read it because just the title, I'm like, do I even want to even have that in my head, right? It is super powerful and really goes with what you just said.
Yeah.
Are we positive and are we in alignment with God and oneness with the universe and the intimate?
Well, and not just that, but ourselves. Like how much that we are our miracle.
Oh, I love that. We are
our miracle.
Priceless.
We just lack the understanding to activate it.
Right.
So that's a lot of where my uniqueness is that if what I'm helping someone find in their nutritional side of things or the functional side of things isn't getting exactly their needs met, then we deep dive into the emotion and the spirit.
Wow.
Because I always think of the body almost like a pool. Your physical symptoms are more like the shallow end. Your emotions are the transition between shallow end and the deep end.
Where the spirituality would lie, correct?
Correct.
Nice.
So where's the imbalance rooted?
Yep. That is amazing. I'm so glad you shared that with us because, and I love that we are our miracle.
Miracle.
And to unlock that, and the easy part is, like you said, the shallow end, the physical part, eating properly, having meditation and prayer in our lives.
That's the simplicity of it. It's literally not a deep dive as most people make it out to be. Eating good food is not that complicated. Like I told
not anymore, sister. Remember 30 years ago, we were like, they had apples and carrot organic. That was spinach. That was it.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
What a blessing today, isn't it?
Yeah. And I tell people it's not that you have to give up your favorite recipes. I said I don't do meal plans simply because I don't know what your favorites are. I said, but if you can make just little tweaks to those favorite family recipes just to make them healthier, be mindful of your portions. What are you putting on your plate? Where are you in your phase of life? Are you trying to get pregnant or are you trying to just make everything feel better?
Or are you menopausal?
Or are you menopausal? Be mindful of where you're at.
Right.
Let the plate reflects your phase of life.
Well, I agree. And, Jefferson City is really blessed to have you guys there. And I love the story. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful for you today to come on today and talk about one of our favorite products, that have been for 35 years, 4 generations. We're working with my son, who had the ear infections in the very beginning, 6 months worth of antibiotics, and it didn't work. And he was vomiting up the antibiotics. A naturopath told me about ear candles. Woo! Yep, those crazy things that you put on fire and put them in your ear. And 4 ear candles later, the ear infection was gone.
All gone. Yeah.
Gone. And so it just really started me on that path, just like with your grandmother, out of necessity, we invent. We're going to figure it out, right? And
we innovate. We're very innovative moms when we need to.
Or we go back to our roots, right?
In addition,
Yes. And so I know that you have some amazing, everybody, Shannon and her family and her store have just supported us for probably close to 30 years. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
From our
Yeah, probably
team to you.
the full 35 with the the old store too. So yes.
Absolutely. So
Oh
we are
yeah.
so grateful, and we would not be here if it was not for fantastic retailers like you that are on the front line talking to consumers, doing the one-to-one consultations. I mean, what a
All the
blessing
time.
gift. So
Yeah.
thank you. And so I know you have some of your own stories
Oh yeah,
about
even with
hair
my
candles.
little ones. Yes.
Yes. So tell us
Oh yeah.
about it.
Well, my son is now 12. Well, going on 12. He is autistic, and so he doesn't really get to express where his pain is. But he has a little, like, kind of body language where he tends to tuck his left ear to his shoulder when he's showing discomfort
Mm.
with where it's at. So he kind of mirrors dad. And so part of the story, I guess, is rooted in dad too. When we were first dating, he was constantly sinus pressure, drainage. You can literally hear fluid. Like he would just rub his ears like this, and you could hear it sloshing.
Mm.
There was fluid trapped in a weird pocket in his ear. It's, which he told me when he was young, he was a good candidate for tubes in his ears, but his mom refused to ever get tubes in his ears.
Good for mom.
Yes. And so I said, well, have you ever tried ear candling? He goes, like candles? Like you're going to light a candle by my ear? Like, what is that? You know? So he was raised by nurses, so he's very medical trained. I said, just let me try it and see what you think. If you dislike it, I'll never ask you again. He goes, okay. So I candle his ears, and he said it was like when you go over a mountain and your ear pops when you're transitioning from the lower elevation to a higher elevation, and you do that yawn and you hear that pop. I said, yeah, exactly. That's the desired result we want. And he goes, really? I said, yeah, it just kind of helps. I said, ear, nose, and throat. It just helps pull the pressure in a different direction in a unique way. And he goes, wow, that feels like really good. Like he just had like this look on his face, like he was just totally baffled. So when our son started presenting the same symptoms, he's like, okay, let's see if this helps. And so at first it was a little of a challenge because he didn't quite understand what we were doing, but as long as dad was there to kind of comfort while I ear candled, he now loves it. So as soon as we get the massage table out, because we lay him flat, so he has his little blanket to cuddle with, he literally assumes the position. And he gets it. Right now during summer and season changes, it's about once a week, just to help that pressure. And he loves it. Absolutely loves it. So it prevents him from having to be on antibiotics. So when we first discovered it, his ears would only ever be red. Like they wouldn't show a full infection. He would hardly ever get a fever. Every time we took him to the pediatrician, or even he saw the school nurse, they would say, well, his ears look a little irritated, but there's no infection. He has no fever. It's just a little red. It's not like highly irritated. And I was like, so I just looked at my husband and said, candles. He goes, okay.
But the other thing that I really want to acknowledge is that part of the healing process, and I think you'll agree, Shannon, is that family unity coming together. I just love the comfort of dad. I love the comfort of mom, and you bringing out the massage table. I just cannot tell you how healing, in the beginning I'm like, is it because I'm loving my child here, or like ear candles. And to be honest, I just think that it's a little bit of both, right?
It's all.
It's
Yeah.
all of it, right? It's
Well,
all
because
of it.
we're acknowledging like you said, the comfort in loving, so that's supplying the emotional side.
Hmm.
In the addition, the candles allowing a certain release
Hmm.
to happen as well. And so it all coincides, especially if you add any of the essential oils in there. You're getting a whole almost spa treatment
Hmm.
in a way. And it it all pulls it together. I mean, literally, you're activating your own miracle in your session.
And I agree with that. I call them, I probably shouldn't say this, but I call them little miracle sticks sometimes,
Oh yeah.
And and I think that, having something, the comfort, the trust, the family,
Mm-hmm.
that healing, allows your child to just relax in such a way that that ear candle then can do what it's intended to do, which is
Mm-hmm.
allow our sinuses, eustachians, and lymph nodes to naturally dilate, open up, and
Open
decongest
up,
naturally.
just release. Yeah.
Yep,
Yes.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
it is mysterious in a way still, and it is, but the testimonials, it works, right? It
It
just
works.
absolutely works.
It
So,
absolutely works. Although I have a slightly different technique than other people, but
okay, tell me.
well, so especially with my husband, he has very narrow ear canals.
Mm-hmm.
They're very narrow. So during the whole session, I actually pull
Mm-hmm.
the top of his earlobe open while the candle's inside,
Mm-hmm.
and I only stop halfway through the top to the middle to
Okay.
cut the ambers
Okay.
and double check that there's no clog in the
Mm-hmm.
filter, and then I continue to the stop.
Okay.
So it allows a pause, but so far by doing just that little
Mm-hmm.
bit, and although we talk about the tickle spot, like everyone has that spot you love to scratch, whether it's with your finger or a Q-tip. I said that's where you want the tip of the candle to sit. It's right there. That's the secret spot. And I said, so pull this, find that spot, and you are primed for a good release.
Well, and I'm so glad you mentioned that. So, two things. One, I have to do that with my ears too. Actually, I have to do it this way. And it's just because everybody's direction of the ear angle is different.
It's different.
So
Yeah.
it's just allowing it. And the second point that you made is so astute. And then it kind of settles in that perfect tickle spot. And when
Mm-hmm.
you look at the reflexology chart, it's amazing. It's heart,
The
heart, and
pressure
lung.
points. Yes.
Yes. And
Yes.
so what's interesting and fascinating is that I cannot tell you how many people, we did the trade shows, and that's where we
Mm-hmm.
got to see each other all the time. And
Yes.
I would do, gosh, maybe 100 to 150 people's ears in a weekend. And it was just fascinating. The number one comment when people would get up after having an ear candle was, oh my God, I feel so
Mm-hmm.
open. I feel so open. And I'm like, what does that mean? So
Just
open,
the
so
release.
open,
Oh
right.
yeah.
And when I found and discovered that reflexology point, your tickle spot, it was
Mm-hmm.
heart, heart, lung. And I'm like, God is so amazing.
Amazing. All
We
the
just have to
time.
figure it out, don't we? Like you said, we just have to figure out how to
We just
unlock
we
that.
just yeah, we stumble on the activation sometimes. Although my grandfather used to be a reverend, the Southern Baptist reverend. So one of his favorite scriptures to quote was James about prayer. You
Okay.
have not because you ask not, and when you ask amiss.
Oh,
Meaning they're not always asking the right question or in the right way.
wow.
And that's why it always made me refer more in than just up. Because if you find where it is in your heart or emotion in terms of your need, that has the stronger activation of prayer.
Wow.
Just like the pressure points do in our divine makeup.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's real. See, everybody, this is why you have to go to Heels Health Hut here. I'm telling you, this is a blessing sent from above. And what a
Yes.
generational gift that we have here of all this knowledge, combining
Yeah.
nature and combining, yes, we need supplements, but
Yes.
one, and being able to listen to God and being able to listen to our elders, right? With such
Oh, yes.
grace, what a
100%.
blessing to have. And
Hmm.
and Shannon, I know that we don't have long here. We just have these short reels. What is it that you would like for people to take away from this conversation that, maybe
Ooh.
don't that would be helpful? And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be ear candles. What, when they come into your store, how what is that gift that you would like to embody them with?
The biggest thing that I constantly instill with my customers is definitely trusting your instincts.
Mm,
That your instincts, your gut instinct has more truth, more is more real than anything that you can get, whether you Google it, whether it's Chat GPT, whether it's a
mm,
doctor or a functional nutritionist. If your gut is telling you no, or telling you yes, or telling you, whoa, wait a minute,
right.
listen.
Mhm.
That is your spirit
Yes.
making sure you're thinking about your choices. Because
Oh,
how many times have we gone through life and we ignored that instinct and we wish we would have gone back and listened to it?
right.
So that's my biggest thing. That's one thing I love about reflexology is it helps tap into that instinct that we're given
Hmm.
from God, and it is infallible.
Wow, you are just what a blessing. I mean, just wow. I just love that, the spirit making sure that you are thinking about your choices. What a great
Yes.
thing, intuition. And how many times have you had somebody in there, you've been chatting 15, 20, 30 minutes, and they're getting ready to leave, and then they go, "Oh, and by the way," and you're like, "Bingo, that's it," right? It's like,
Yes.
"Good, come back in here. You ain't going anywhere," right?
Yes.
Just
Yes.
so funny how it's
Oh, yes.
and the last thing, right? So it's
Yes.
listening to that intuition. Mom
Listening to
knows
them.
best. I
Yes.
can give you 100 stories just with my children where doctors were like, well, if you don't do this, one of them said, to me, if you don't do this, your child's going to die. And I went, yeah, I don't think
No.
no, not at all.
No.
Now, if I
No.
stay with you, they might die. But at
Yes.
the end of the day, my child is now 35 years old and has a set of twins. So I don't
Oh.
know, right? Amazing as I know.
Yes.
They're so cute.
Well, twins run in my family, so I have a very special love for twins. So.
Oh, well, it doesn't on ours, so clearly it's all mom. Good for her. She's super powerful. Talking about
Mhm.
manifesting, she told my son, she was like, "Oh, by the way, we're gonna have twins, a boy and a girl." And he's like, "You get one pregnancy." She goes, "Okay."
Okay.
And guess what happened? So talk about the power of mom, power.
The same thing happened to my aunt. Her second marriage, she ended up with fraternal twins. It's the first set in our family out of 7 sets of twins.
Oh,
In 4 generations, she has the only fraternal boy girl. And same thing, she goes, I will give you one pregnancy because he had no kids. And they ended up with twins. So he got a boy and a girl in one whack.
nice. Well, everyone, I
Yeah.
think that it's very clear that the place to go to in Jefferson City for natural holistic living is Hills Health Hut. Shannon is
very
there
much.
all the time. Her family's there. I think that you will just be you'll be beyond pleasantly surprised. Your socks will be
For
knocked
sure,
off,
for sure.
and you'll begin a healing process that will become a part of your holistic lifestyle.
Yes,
Shannon,
for sure.
thank you so much. Everyone, her number is 865-475-2993, and that is Jefferson City Hills Health Hut. I
Yes.
am, as always, Doc Harmony with Healthy Energy, Amazing Health, myhealshop.com. And it's been a pleasure again to see everyone and let you know about one of our amazing retailers.
Thank you.
Well,